What's up, brand builders? Stephen Hurahan here at BrandMasterAcademy.com, and in this video you're going to learn the difference between cost, price and value so you can improve your conversations with your clients and increase how much they're prepared to pay for your services. Now, when it comes to the branding industry, the terms cost, price and value are often used interchangeably, certainly by prospects going out into the marketplace and looking for their jobs to be fulfilled. But there is a distinct difference in the three of them, and if you understand that difference, then you can structure your conversations with your client so you can influence the outcome of what they're prepared to pay for your services. So let's take a look at cost, price and value and break them down so you can better understand them. Number one, cost. Now, one of the most frequently asked questions, if not the most frequently asked question within the whole of the branding industry is, you've probably guessed it, what is the cost of a logo, or how much does a logo cost? Now, when an entrepreneur asks this question, they're actually asking what is the cost to them, but what they usually get in response from a freelancer or a designer is a cost based on the designer's cost. So they don't take anything into consideration other than what it's going to cost that actual designer. Now, what they should be taking into account here and what they should be costing up are a number of different things, including the labor, any hardware used, any software used, the premises that they're working on, is there any rent there, and any other outgoings that might contribute to how much it actually costs the designer to produce that work. Now, even if the freelancer does take the time to include all of those costs within their quote, including their rent, any expenses they might have, their hardware, their software, and then their labor on top of that, even if they do take the time to include all of those costs, they're still not making any money at that point because they're only charging out what it's actually costing them to produce the work. But in reality, most freelancers don't even do that. They will charge out for the cost of their labor. So they'll work out how much they want to be paid per hour. They'll work out how many hours the project is going to take, and that's how they base their prices. So in reality, they're losing money on all of those other expenses. So for most freelancers, with every project they do, they're actually losing money on that project. So how does that differ from price? Well, let's have a look at the cost again. The cost is the cost of production to you as a supplier. That is how much the job is going to cost you. The price, on the other hand, is how much you're going to charge, and the difference between the two, the difference between the cost and the price, is your profit. So when a prospect comes to you and asks you for the cost of a logo or the cost of your services, what they're actually asking you is the cost to them. They're assuming that within your costing and within your pricing to them that you're going to include some kind of profit. They're not thinking that you're going to be losing money on the work that you do. They're assuming that somewhere in the background you have included in some profit for your business. So any business, whether they're selling apple juice or running shoes or legal services, they are selling their services at a given price, and that price includes their profit. Now, if the business is not making any kind of profit and they're charging their services or their products out at the cost of production, well then that business is not going to be around for long because they're not making money. Any business exists to make a profit, and if it's not making a profit, then it's a charity. So you really need to consider your services and your freelance business as an actual business. You need to include the profit that you want your business to make within the services that you provide to your clients. So what should your business be earning from their profit margins? Well, you have different businesses earning different levels of profit margins right across the board. You have some businesses that will charge 10%, other businesses that will charge 50%, some 300%, and then upwards of that as well. It really depends on the individual business, and you should assume some risk with your profit. So for example, within a branding business, you have the risk that your client is going to come back to you with multiple changes. They want to adjust the outcome. They want to adjust the delivery. Now, in some cases, you'll be able to adjust the price with that. But for the most part, you will assume some risk with your profit margin. What you need to determine is what your profit margin should be and what risk you're going to assume within that profit margin. And number three, value. Now, as the seller of your services, you get to determine the price that you're going to charge. But as a buyer, your prospects and your clients will determine the value. They'll determine whether or not they're going to be prepared to pay the price that you have laid out. And if they do see value in what you've put in front of them, and if they see that the value is either at or above the price, then your prospect will potentially become a buyer. So you need to determine what your price is going to be within the marketplace, and you base that on your costs and your profit, and you set that price. But the buyer and your prospect will determine the value. They'll determine whether or not they're prepared to pay the price that you have set out. If they are, you will have a new client. Now, some freelancers do struggle with the idea of marking up their prices, and they can't get past the idea of determining what their hourly rate should be and then working for those amount of hours to earn that amount of money. And essentially they're stuck in this cycle of trading their time for dollars. And it's not until you're able to break free from that model do you actually start to build a business. Now, although your prospect does determine the value, you have the opportunity to influence that value. Now, there are a lot of designers out there that work as subcontractors for bigger agencies, and essentially they sell their work to the agency at one price, and then the agency on-sells that to their clients for another price. Now, they're able to do that because they have influenced how much value their clients see in their work, and therefore they're able to charge those higher rates. So when it comes to your prospects and your clients, you have the opportunity to influence how much value they see in your work. And when it comes to brand strategy, the best way to do that is to educate your clients, to talk to them about the value of what real branding is and the fact that a logo is not going to get them too far. So when you speak with your clients, think about the value that you offer within your business. Think about the value that they see within your services, and then try to influence that by education. But I would love to hear from you. How do you go about charging for your services? Do you have those types of clients coming to you asking you how much does a logo cost? And if they do, how do you charge that up? Do you include the cost of your hardware, your software, your rental premises? Do you include all of those costs along with your labor? And then you charge a profit on top of that. And how has that been going for you? If you've got any challenges at all, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer all of those. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell as well. It'll let you know when I've got new videos coming out. If you want more exclusive tips like this, then head on over to BrandBuildr.ai and sign up for the newsletter. It is free. I do keep some exclusive tips for my valued list, and I will drop those tips and techniques right into your inbox. But again, I would love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments below what your challenges are. Until next time, brand like a master, and I will see you in the next video.